Ladies and gentlemen, what's up? BC here. Welcome back to another episode of Supreme Being. I have, some visitors here the last couple of days, so it's thrown me slightly off schedule, but it's going to be relevant to today's conversation. Shout out to Team BC. Contact me if you're interested in the investment side of my team, if you're interested in the traditional agent side of my team, if you're a buyer, right, for properties, because we are working on the investment side, in particular with wholesaling. Let me know. I have an application I'm going to share with everybody if you want to be on a preferred buyers list for all the deals that we come across. Shout out again to Modern Success, my coaching program, my family. Love you guys. If you guys are interested in learning more about that or anything else that I have to offer, you can go to Brian Casella, BryanCasella.com. I coach all kinds of people, real estate, non-real estate, business entrepreneurs. Let's start. Everything counts. That's the name of this podcast. Every single thing counts. I'm going to give you a ton of examples. The end goal may not be so finite to certain people, meaning, right? Let's say from a health standpoint, we want to never eat junk food again. Can you get to that point? I believe so. I truly believe so. Because even in my case, as an instance, me eating, in quotes, junk food or something off of my lifestyle, not a temporary diet, I'm talking about my lifestyle, is very rare now. I would say 95% of the time, at least, I'm sharp. Very rarely do I have something outside of it. Okay. But this also goes for spending. This also goes for relationships. It goes for a lot of things. Everything counts. Okay. And I'm going to break that down, how important this is, because there's a lot of BS thrown into our society, especially the diet world. And I want to cover this with you. I said that in the beginning about keeping that as a target on the wall, because getting to the point where you're 100% is very challenging. And that's the life's journey. Right? Will I ever eat perfectly no matter what? I don't know. Right? The goal is to be there, and I'm going there every day. Now, a lot of people will tell you you're crazy. That's not healthy. They'll say a bunch of shit. Right? But that's not the top of the top saying that. That's the average day loser motherfucker getting in your ear trying to, stop you from doing what you want to do. In many cases, because they can't do it or they're jealous. Not always, but that's a big reason why random people shit on your dreams like that. Okay. But let's talk about this, right? Let's start with that one because it's relevant to everybody, just like consumption. We've made it normal in our society. Think about this, right? Let's just look at this objectively, whether you have an opinion on it or not. Let's put that to the side. If we look at this objectively, factually, okay? Inhaling, smoking anything, drinking alcohol is bad for you, no matter which way you slice it. Doing it in moderation is not healthy. Putting any kind of alcohol in your body is poison. Same thing with smoking. Okay. Marijuana, as an example, has THC, which is very beneficial for you. But if you smoke it, it is still harmful for you. Again, no matter which way you slice it, we have to call things as they are. Now, what will a lot of people do? Well, you need to loosen up, and they justify and create a story, right, to do it themselves. Or they'll look at me, some people, and say, oh, well, you're no fun. You're wound too tight. They create emotional manipulation. That's what that is, what I just described to you. So if any of you are hearing that, and you want to make this goal that I never want to drink again or this and that, you're not a party pooper. You're not a loser. You're not no fun. You are a disciplined human being, more disciplined than the average person. You can actually commit to something, and you're saying, hey, I'm choosing to do this for my lifestyle. Now, I don't have an issue with any of that anymore because I know how to communicate, and I can make the most boring thing sound incredible to people, again, because I know how to communicate and I have a lot of training. But if you don't, and people are putting undue pressure on you and peer pressuring you and bullying you because of this, stand strong, because those emotions are temporary, and any approval that you're seeking from them or random people online or the group, it doesn't matter. Okay. Their opinions are shit. Okay. Now I'm starting with this because everything counts. If I have a glass of wine every night or a beer, I don't care what anybody tells you, you're putting poison in your body. Your body has to process the alcohol. Again, people will say, oh, well, there's studies. I don't give a shit what the study says. At the end of the day, it's a harmful substance. This is what I'm getting at. It's still deteriorating your system very slowly. Your body still has to filter out the alcohol. No matter which way we slice it, it's not good. Same thing with eating junk food, right? It's not designed for the human being, a lot of these processed foods. Now, do I still eat them from time to time? Sure, but I'm very aware of it when I do it. Very aware. And again, that's such a small percentage of the time now. However, I still acknowledge and take responsibility that is detrimental to my system. Now, I've cut out any type of smoking, any type of drinking alcohol. I'm pretty fucking clean now. Even the products that I use, like deodorant, I don't want to put any of those chemicals on me. I never use sunscreen because that shit is riddled with chemicals too. I'm what you would call more of an extreme case, which is fine. I understand a lot of people look at me and say, whoa, dude, you're hardcore. So to do everything I do overnight may be challenging because I've been implementing this stuff over the years, right? It didn't just happen overnight. I went from regular person to monk or some shit, right? It's a process. But I recommend you, at the very least, after listening to this, take this into account because it is extremely important. It is extremely important. And a lot of those arguments that people are bringing up are dumb. People tell me, oh, I don't agree. You should eat junk food every once in a while. You can, of course. You're a human being. But for you to make any justification that it's good for you or it's not harmful is false. I'm sorry. It's false. It's false. So let's look at other places. How many times will we slack off and say, oh, it's okay not to do this or not to do that? Well, I'm not going to study. I'm not going to read and this and that. Why? Just admit that you're slacking off or that you're not going to do it. Right? What I'm asking here is for people to take responsibility. I'm not saying, again, we be the Zen Buddha with all this stuff, because again, I'm not perfect either. I've said that many times now. I want to make that clear. But if you're being a slacker, if you're being lazy, admit it and say, I'm fucking up. I'm being lazy. Because what will we do? We'll create these intricate, fancy stories to justify it. Well, Sunday's the day that I gorge and eat 10 pounds of food. It's like, I don't care what story is behind that. That's harmful. Well, Sunday, I don't do anything and I just sit there. I don't study and this and that. It's like, you should be feeding your mind every day, even if it's only a little bit. If your schedule says do it for an hour, do it for an hour. Then you don't have to do any more, but at least you're doing what you said you're going to do. Not sitting around watching Netflix for 24 hours straight, claiming that that's a day off and that you need that. Nobody needs that. I'm asking people to get in touch with reality again, because we've become so deluded. All that happens on social media, somebody comes out with a meme or a video or a TikTok now that justifies something, or they make it entertaining and people suddenly think that's a new theory or this new thing. I mean, it's crazy. There's a fine line between innovation and delusion, a very fine line. And we have to be able to decipher that. All I'm asking for you listening, and I'll reiterate it a few times throughout this podcast, is to at least assess all of these things and subjects with a level head. Because when we do everything counts, let's look at it financially too. Right? You better be making wise decisions with your money and investing and investing first and then spending second 80-90% of the time. Because if you're bullshitting half the time with your money and then the other half you're being responsible, you're not going to have a very secure financial future. Like, I'm already to the point now where I can stop working and producing online, and I'm already making enough money residually and passively that I'm good. I'm set for life already. And I've only been really working as an entrepreneur for 9 or 10 years. But I'm still, guess what, going to be responsible. Just because I can do, in quotes, whatever the fuck I want, doesn't mean that I'm going to, because that's not the right thing to do just because I can. As much as I work out, can I eat trash? Sure, I could and still be ripped to shit. But why would I do that? I'm selling myself short. This is another point of it. I would be disappointing myself by doing these things and saying these stories. And I don't want to do that. I can disappoint other people. And that sometimes it feels bad depending on the level of relationship you have with those individuals or that group or that organization, right? But to disappoint yourself, man, and know deep down inside that you're not giving it your all, that's a fucked up feeling, let me tell you. And we've all been there, okay? We've all been there. So one that was very difficult for me was the finances. Man, I thought I knew it all. And it took me making some pretty grave mistakes and being very irresponsible financially for me to say, yo, I need to get my shit together. I need to start all the stuff that I'm reading and learning about. I need to start actually doing it. Not a little bit of it, all of it. You read a book, it gives you 10 tips for financial improvement. Why do we only take 1 or 2 or not do it at all, or just say that sounds good? How about, hey, I read it. I know I'm supposed to do it. How about I actually do it and create a plan and execute it like it says to do? Why? Everything counts. From first discovering the information to then learning it and going all the way to application and using it and executing it. Every step counts. You miss one step, guess what? You ruin the formula. You don't get the results. That's the formula for change. New information, new thoughts, new ideas, new plan, new action. You miss one of those steps, Nothing changes. Therefore, everything counts. Look at the extreme examples, right? Like the bodybuilders who kill themselves all year to then look good on stage for 10 seconds, or like the swimmers like Michael Phelps, where half a second or a millisecond separates first place from like third place. Everything counts. I guarantee you the people who got second or third had a couple more extra slacking off days or whatever, and that's what caused them to slow down that millisecond that cost them the gold, if you really look back. Because I've never heard anybody get interviewed and not say, maybe I could have done a little bit more. If you were absolutely certain that you did everything possible, you wouldn't say, maybe I could have done more, or I wish I would have done more. You would have said, yo, I did everything possible. Homeboy was just better than me. Okay. You might hear that, but it's very rare. Most of the time, people say, I was partying too much. I was messing around. I could have gone a little bit harder. And that cost them the ultimate glory of what they were seeking. So in those moments, everything counts. It's just not clear to them until a decisive moment occurs where now they suffer because of it, or it becomes obvious that everything counts and they weren't aware of it before. Because even though we are, until something happens that slaps us in the face, we don't want to admit it, or we can, in quotes, get away with it. I mean, look at the profession that I help with people the most, sales and real estate. I can tell very quickly if people are doing what they're supposed to do, and everything counts. Oh, I love doing everything you teach, bro, except for this. It's like, well, then you're not going to succeed, dude. I put that, and I tell people to add that to their training or add that to their daily routine and action plan, because you need it. I don't just say it to hear my voice. It's necessary. It is a necessary ingredient for the success of you or that individual. Bake a cake, leave out ingredients. What do you get? You don't get the cake, or you get a messed up cake. It's not exactly what the recipe said it would make. Therefore, everything counts. We need to make this clear. This is why when you see stuff like, and you see, I always bring up the diet and the lifestyle, because that's what's thrown in our face. Oh, cheat meals and cheat days. Man, if somebody creates a plan and they change the linguistics of it, okay, and it still falls within what they're supposed to eat, and they're not willingly doing damage to themselves, I would say, okay, that works then. But to purposely, again, in your mind, say it's okay to literally eat or drink poison, you're never going to convince me, no matter what society says. We have to start there. Same thing with financially. I'm never going to support stupid decisions, right? Like, let's take buying a car. If you can barely afford it and it puts you in a shitty situation, why would you buy it when you can wait a little bit longer, put more of a down payment, or, like it's always recommended, buy investments and assets like real estate that cash flow. Then you can take those earnings and that cash flow and purchase that car a year or two later, or whatever that toy is, car, watch, boat, anything. And now that's made, that decision and the purchase, from a position of control and strength, not desperation and emotion and wanting to prove people and seek approval and get likes and all that crap. We know that second one I said, everybody would unanimously say that's the right thing to do. Oh, of course you should do that. You should always invest first, right? Spend what's left. Everybody unanimously agrees with that. Yet, how come in action, people aren't doing it? Well, everything counts. Somewhere along the lines, they're doing something wrong, but they'll justify it to you. Well, I work so hard. I don't have time. I need some luxuries, right? The excuses come out instead of just saying, yeah, I fucked up. I need to fix it, and then fixing it. Right? But again, we as a society have made it okay to give these elaborate, fancy stories. They get one person in a white coat or a celebrity to say it's okay, and suddenly it's okay. And I'm okay with me or anybody else saying, yeah, I'm poisoning myself. It's okay. I can at least respect that individual because they're being real. Yeah, I'm poisoning myself, but you know what? It's worth it to me. Okay, dude, live your life. You have that right. But don't come to me with a 10-minute elaborate story about how you're not poisoning yourself. Come on, let's be real here, right? So when I say everything counts, it forces you to look at things differently, take responsibility. And then if you want to change something, you'll really change it and do what it is that you need to do. Because when you have a reality and a grip on what's going on, your life, the circumstances, from this position, it becomes very easy for you to take action. And the most important thing, you stop bullshitting yourself. Because as I make this podcast for the individual, I don't care if somebody's going to come in and say, I'm crazy or this doesn't work. This isn't for them, right? This is for you to take home and even just within your mind, get real with yourself and stop bullshitting you. Maybe you'll still bullshit other people for a little bit, right? But at least if you stop bullshitting yourself, you'll eventually stop bullshitting other people. Because that's how it changes. If you're bullshitting yourself and other people, first, you have to stop bullshitting yourself and get real with yourself. Then you'll stop bullshitting other people and getting real with them. This is why the people who are brutally honest with you and everyone around them that you know, I have respect for those people because they're a little bit more in tune with themselves. If I know they're not bullshitting me and someone else, more than likely, probably 100% for sure, almost, with some rare exceptions, of course, they're being real with themselves in their real life. And that's probably somebody I can trust on average a little bit more than the average person, at least. Because I know what it takes to be honest with people and be raw and be upfront and tell things as they are. It's not easy in today's society. We've accepted white lies and bullshit. It's just a normal part of it. And people say, oh, it's just the way it is. Oh, you know the politics of corporate environment? No, I don't. Sorry. Nor do I agree with it. That's my response. Don't give me the runaround. Tell me like it is. It's okay to be passive aggressive and hate on people and cancel them. Like, our culture is fucking twisted right now. So reality is escaping and getting further and further away. And then me, on the other hand, I'm trying to yank it closer to everybody. I have people slapping me, hating on me, cursing at me. Don't do that. That's wrong. So remember that everything counts, especially in the moments where you don't feel good, you feel weak, you want to take the easy way out. Remember, everything counts. So at least before you make that decision, you know that you're taking the step backwards and that you're messing yourself up. Because the dedication to everything counts and being sharp all the time is a muscle that can be built. Again, I'm not there yet, but man, I feel like I'm getting closer every day. And it's a beautiful feeling because I can live in a way and at a level that very few people will ever understand. And the best part is I don't care if they understand, dude. They'd be like, oh, this person, like, let's say I get on stage, this person always makes wise financial decisions. They never eat junk food. They do this, they do that. Then people are like, man, no, that's too much structure. He's not spontaneous. Dude, I'm spontaneous as fuck. I'm just disciplined. Right? All the arguments they would throw at me wouldn't stick because I can even rebut them if I want to, but we don't even have to get there. It's irrelevant because I'm committed to something, again, that by virtue of other people not understanding or getting, why would I argue or debate with them? They don't get it. They don't understand this perspective. They don't want to understand it. That's fine. But do it for you. Take it for you. And watch how in every category you will be sprinting past people. They won't even be able to know what's going on. Man, what are you doing that's so special? You don't even want to know because you wouldn't believe it anyway. That's like literally my answer now. So now, like nowadays, when people, I remember back in the day, I would study certain people and hear it. They would say, maybe this person that I'm reading would say, I'm so proficient in this thing or really good at this thing that if I told people the level that I was at or they saw it, they wouldn't believe it, right? Or they wouldn't comprehend it. I understand. Back then when I read that, I was like, what the fuck are they talking about? But now I get it. Now I understand a quote like that for what it is. And I really see that. I'm like, I get it now. And it's not that we're special. It's a dedication. It's a commitment for the journey, however long that is. Until, right? Something I heard from Jim Rohn, the until formula. I'm going to study until I learn. I'm going to work on my finances until I'm good. I'm going to shoot the basketball until I'm the best shooter, right? I'm going to call until I get an appointment. I'm going to door knock until I find, a client, right? Very good mantra to have. Very good formula. Very effective. Okay. So with that said, guys, I'll wrap it up here. Remember, everything counts. Whether you want to admit it or not, me or anybody else, everything counts. Okay. Shout out to everybody. You guys want to reach out to me about the investment side of Team BC or regular Team BC, hit me up, briancasella.com, my personal website for my coaching, modern success, or anything else that I have to offer, including products, seminars, events, and all that fun stuff. All right. See ya.